नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिके। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, The Pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, text number 16. Badhva udadha raghupater vividhadri kutaihi. Badhvo dadhau raghupater vividhadri kutaihi. Badhvo dadhau raghupater vividhadrikuter. Setum kapindra kara kampita bhuruha angaihi. Setum kapindra karakampita bhuruhangai. Setum kapindra karakampita bhuruhangai. Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukhair Anikair. Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukhair Anikai. Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukhair Anikair. Lanka Vibhishana Drishabhishan Agradagdham. Lankam Vibhishana Drishabhishad Agradagdham. Lankam Vibhishana Drishabhishad Agradagdham. Badhvo dadhau raghupater vividhadrikutai. Setum kapindra karakampita bhuruhangai. Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukhair Anikair. Lankam Vibhishana Drishabhishadagradagdham. Badhvo dadhau raghupater vividhadrikutai. Setum kapindra karakampita bhuruhangai. Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukhair Anikair. Lankam Vibhishana Drishabhishadagradagdham. Badhvo dadhau raghupater vividhadrikutai. Setum kapindra karakampita bhuruhangai. Sugriva Nila Hanumat Pramukhair Anikair. Lankam vibhishana drusha vishadagradagdha Lagdo dadao raghupater vividhadrikutai Setum kapindra karakampita bhuruhangai Sugriva nila hanumat pramukhair anikair Lankam vibhishana dusha vishadagradagdham Badva after constructing Udadha in the water of the ocean Raghupatihi Lord Ramachandra Vividha varieties of Adrikutai with peaks of great mountains Setum a bridge Kapi Indra of powerful monkeys Karakampita moved by the great hands Bhuruha Angai with the trees and plants Sugriva Nila Hanuman Pramukhai led by Anikai with such soldiers Lanka the kingdom of Ravana Vibhishana Drusha by the direction of Vibhishana the brother of Ravana Avishat entered Agradagdham which was previously burnt by the monkey soldier Hanuman. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Shukadev Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishana, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers headed by Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom, Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Please repeat this translation after me. Shukadev Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishana, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers, headed by Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom, Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Great mountain peaks covered with trees and plants were thrown into the sea by the monkey soldiers and began to float by the supreme will of the Lord. By the supreme will of the Lord, many great planets float weightlessly in space like swabs of cotton. If this is possible, why should great mountain peaks not be able to float on water? This is the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do anything and everything he likes because he is not under the control of the material nature. Indeed, material nature is controlled by him. Maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyatesu characharam. Only under his direction does prakriti or material nature work. Similar information is given in the Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 52nd verse. Yasyagniya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Describing how material nature works, the Brahma Samhita says that the sun moves as desired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, for Lord Ramachandra to construct a bridge over the Indian Ocean with the help of the monkey soldiers who threw great mountain peaks into the water is not at all wonderful. It is wonderful only in the sense that it has kept the name and fame of Lord Ramachandra eternally celebrated. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shukadeva Goswami continues to describe the pastimes of Lord Rama in brief. The previous verse described the Samudra Deva, ocean personified, offering prayers to Lord Rama and praying to him that you may construct a bridge to spread your transcendental fame. So, how did Lord Rama build the bridge? That is being described here. After constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into water the peaks of mountains whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys. Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He does not even require to build a bridge. But the description is given here about his Leela, pastimes. His pastimes are transcendental activities which help us understand that he is the Supreme Lord, and for the sake of his pastimes, he can use anything in whichever way he pleases. But we should always remember the Supreme Lord's activities are in relationship with his devotees. And his devotees are engaged in all varieties of services to simply please the Supreme Lord. And the Lord also accepts the devotee's service simply to bless the devotees, to give pleasure, transcendental pleasure to the devotees. He reciprocates. So we have to understand all this in the light of this most important point. That the Lord has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Because he has got innumerable energies. Simply by his will, all his energies will carry out whatever he has to do or whatever he wants to get it done. Then why has he got to perform any activity at all? That is simply because of his devotees. Only reason the Lord performs activities is because of his devotees. Because his devotees want to serve him. That's their only business. They have nothing else to do. Like the Lord has nothing to do, even the devotees have nothing to do. For their own maintenance, for their own sake, for their own purpose, they have nothing to do. Because they are pure devotees, not only pure devotees, everyone is maintained by the Supreme Lord. Everyone is completely taken care of by the Supreme Lord. So, the devotees know this perfectly well, and they are always sheltered and protected and provided by the Supreme Lord. So, what have they got to do? Nothing. Exactly like the Supreme Lord has nothing to do, the devotees also have nothing to do. But then, it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Soul cannot be inactive. Soul cannot be inactive. So what is their activity if they have nothing to do for themselves? That is the most confidential knowledge revealed in the confidential scriptures. That the liberated souls, they are completely freed from all material bondage, all material activities, all material existence. At the same time, they are spirit souls who are always active. Who are always active. So what is their activity? This is explained in the confidential literature, like the Bhagavatam, like the Bhagavad Gita, that the devotees' activities are devotional service rendered to the Supreme Lord out of love for him. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna is describing his pure devotees in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. My devotees are always thinking of me. Their lives are dedicated for my service. Madgata prana. Their lives are dedicated for my service. So, a sample of that service is demonstrated by the Supreme Lord when he comes to this material world and performs some very wonderful pastimes. Now, the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in the material world are unique. Some of the pastimes, not all. Just like this building the bridge over the ocean. Why was this required? Because Rama wanted to cross the ocean with a huge battalion of monkey soldiers. He had to rescue Sita from the clutches of Ravana. And Ravana was a very powerful demon, Rakshasa. So, Rama was in exile. As the king, he has a very nice army, but he's in exile. He's away from his kingdom. He is bound by a promise to his father that he will stay away from the kingdom. Means he'll stay away from his army also, 14 years. And meantime, he has to rescue Sita Devi. So he is engaging these monkey soldiers, whatever was available. The confidential understanding is that Rama has nothing to do with monkeys. But anybody wants to render service to the Supreme Lord out of devotion, the Lord will accept that service regardless of who the person is or what that person's capabilities are. You see? He is accepting service from these monkeys to build a bridge. What can they do? How they can help? They can just throw some stones, some mountain peaks, some trees. That's all the monkeys can do. So, Lord Ramachandra, because he is supremely powerful, and the material nature works under his direction. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sucharacharam. So even though the law of material nature is when such huge boulders and mountain peaks and trees are thrown into the water of the ocean, they will all sink. But by Lord Ramachandra's will, they all were floating. And in that way, the bridge was constructed. So, the monkeys, whatever service they could do, they did. But because it was offered with devotion, Lord Ramachandra accepted it. He is in no need of any service from anybody. He is not in need of any service. But he accepts service only if it is rendered with devotion. Only if it is rendered with devotion. So, because these monkeys are devotees. Actually, who are these monkeys? What is their identity? They are all great devatas who prayed to Lord Rama that this Ravana has become a very big disturbance in the whole universe. So kindly get rid of this Rakshasa who is simply troubling all saintly persons and the devatas, the devotees of the Lord. So Rama appeared in order to answer the prayers of the devatas. So the devatas are assisting him in his leela of killing this Ravana. Every activity, including killing of the demon Ravana, is a pastime of the Supreme Lord Rama. It's a leela, Ram leela. Because when the Lord kills somebody, he purifies that person. He delivers the person. He liberates that person from sinful reactions. So, that is the reason why the Lord performs this leela of killing the demon. Otherwise, the demon can be killed by any agent of the Lord. Any agent. Even insignificant agents can kill most powerful demons simply by being empowered by the Supreme Lord. So, the Lord accepts service from his devotees. So the Devatas are all devotees of the Supreme Lord. Vishnu Bhaktas Mruto Daiva. So they appeared in the form of monkeys to assist the Lord in this battle against Ravana, because Ravana was having a huge army. Even though Rama can just finish off entire Ravana and his army simply by his willing. But in order to engage his devotees in some service, he decided to fight against this Ravana's army with the army of his own army of monkey soldiers. And these monkey soldiers, even though as Devatas, they are much more capable and powerful than Ravana's soldiers. But when they have appeared as a monkey, just in that monkey form, whatever they can do, Rama will engage them in that way only. And still, because the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even without skilled soldiers, Rama's party will win the battle. Exactly like in the battle of Kurukshetra, even though Duryodhana had very powerful generals on his side, the most powerful generals, and Krishna and the Yadu army were not fighting on Pandava's side. Yadu army was on Duryodhana's side, the most powerful army. And Krishna himself, he is not fighting, even though he is on the Pandava's side. He is not fighting. So, in spite of all these odds against the Pandavas, still Pandavas won the battle, because Krishna was on the side of Pandavas. Jayastu Panduputranam yesham pakshe janardana. Victory is always on the side of those who are favored by the Supreme Lord. That means victory is always on the side of the devotees. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdaraha tatra shri vijaya. Victory is always for devotees. So therefore, Lord Rama wants to teach us that you should always be on the side of the Supreme Lord. You should never go against the Lord. You should never even think that by some material power, which sometimes, because of the illusory nature of this material energy, material power sometimes seems to be more powerful than spiritual power. Just like devotees, not everyone is having Kshatriya skill. So when they are challenged by the atheists, the materialists, the demons, then devotees just take shelter of the Supreme Lord, sometimes just by praying to Him, just by chanting Hare Krishna. So then the demons will be laughing. Look at this devotee. When his life is in danger, he is thinking by praying his life will be safe. So what is the value of this prayer? That's what the demons sometimes challenge. And they even see devotees die when attacked by a demon or a materialist. Just like in the battle of Kurukshetra, Abhimanyu was fighting on the side of the Pandavas, Arjuna's son. Abhimanyu was very powerful. He was a powerful Kshatriya. Single-handedly, he challenged so many powerful generals who were on the Kaurava side. But they broke the rules because even the most powerful general could not fight against Abhimanyu, who was a much junior, apparently a less powerful fighter. But they ganged up together against the rules of Dharma Yuddha and they killed him. Now, devotees who are neophytes or materialists will point out such a powerful devotee warrior, Abhimanyu, he was killed in the battle. Why was he not saved? Somebody asked me this question. So, Krishna's protection for his devotees is not material protection. This is one important thing we have to understand. Krishna's blessing is not material blessings or material favors. There is nothing like material blessing. There is no material favor that Krishna wants to give to his devotees. Because everything material is a product of the illusory energy. All these material favors, material opulence, material power, material beauty, everything is meant for the non-devotees. Non-devotees. Devotees are enriched with spiritual opulence, spiritual power, spiritual knowledge, spiritual beauty. And in the material world, spiritual beauty is not easily recognized, or anything spiritual is not easily understood. By the most learned Vedic scholars also, they cannot recognize or understand what is the spiritual reality in terms of personal features of the Lord. At the most, the scholars of the Vedas can to some extent understand spiritual reality or truth as impersonal Brahman. They can't understand what is this, the spiritual truth about the personal features, the features of the personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of God, that they cannot understand. So therefore, all such pastimes of the Lord are also mistaken to be ordinary activities of some ordinary person whom sentimental devotees consider as God. The non-devotees when they hear about the pastimes of Ramachandra or Krishna, they'll find so many faults in these activities. And devotees, when they understand from the proper source, properly understand what these activities are, what are the nature of these activities, what is transcendental about them. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. Tattvataha, only the devotees can understand properly what is the nature of Rama's activities, Krishna's activities, and how they are all transcendental. They are full of all spiritual qualities. Devotees are enriched with spiritual qualities, spiritual opulence, spiritual power, spiritual strength, spiritual knowledge. And the nature of spirit is always opposite of material nature. That is elaborately explained in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. So you should study Bhagavad Gita properly if you want to understand what is spiritual nature, what is spirit, who is the personality of Godhead, spiritual personality. Everything you understand if you study properly Bhagavad Gita. So that non-devotees can never properly understand who is personality of Godhead. They cannot understand. They cannot understand what is the nature of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. They cannot understand the Lord's qualities, the Lord's form, the Lord's devotees, the Lord's paraphernalia. They cannot. So, if we read or hear or do some analysis, material analysis of all these items, then we will only end up with a wrong understanding. We will misunderstand. We'll be misled. So therefore, we have to very carefully hear or read or understand from the pure devotees, from the parampara system. Only through the parampara system, these confidential activities of the Supreme Lord are revealed to a devotee. I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.